On July 12, 1965, a new generation began. It was the birthday of Jeffrey Kenton Wead. He was the firstborn son of Jim and Joyce, the first grandson of Roy and Rosa May. That October, on their way to Fort Devens, Massachusetts, where Jim would have additional training, they stopped by to let us see their baby boy. Of course, Rosa May had been hoping that the new generation just might produce a girl, but no chance. In fact, Rosa May would not live to see a girl born in her family, although she would hold 4 of her own sons and 4 of her grandsons in her arms. Had she known, however, she would surely have taken some consolation in the fact that this very same baby boy, Jeffrey Kenton Wead, would one day marry a young lady named Julie Dell and be the proud father of 5 girls of his own. It would be the perfect family for a man who would one day make a career out of coaching girls. Years later, we would surf the television channels to see when Jeff's teams would be in competition. Even now, we search the internet to read the comments of Coach Jeff Wead when his volleyball teams are in the news. The year before Jeff was born, his father Jim had finished language school in California. The Army had taught him Czech. So now, graduating from officers training school in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and finishing more training at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, where would the Army send their new officer fluent in the Czech language? Only an Army veteran can appreciate the answer. He was going to Japan. They were all going to Japan: Jim, Joyce, and Jeff. Jim's original idea, at least as it was communicated to me, was to let the government, in this case the Army, pay for everything, send him to some foreign country, and he would fulfill his duties, stay on and do missions work. And then it morphed into becoming a chaplain. But the process was becoming very complicated, and somewhere along the line we now know he became involved in a career in Army intelligence. He was in Japan in the middle of the Cold War, knowledgeable in the Czech language for a reason. Apparently the Soviet satellites used codes in the Czech language, and in Japan, near the Russian border, Jim would be tracking those satellites. His career with its mysterious trips would always prompt whispers from the family. Was Jim a spy? As you ordered, Mr. Bond, shaken, not stirred. They would travel to Sapporo on the North Island and live at Kuma Station in the small town of Chitose. It was reportedly one of the sites where in 1941, when Jeff's father, Jim, was his age, the Japanese bombers left for aircraft carriers in the middle of the Pacific and refueled before flying on to their attack at Pearl Harbor. According to Joy, Jeff was an easy baby. Their time together in Japan was good for the family. Not much else to do but an occasional sightseeing trip to Tokyo or Kyoto. A lot of family time together. Everywhere they went, people reached out to touch Jeff's blonde hair, a novelty to the Japanese. And another baby would be born in Japan, one who would grow up to become that chaplain that Jim said he wanted to be. But all of that was far into the future. When Dad dedicated his firstborn grandchild that year, 1965, when after many months the time finally came and we took Jim and Joy and Jeff to the airport to send them off on their great adventure, we all agreed Jim had married well, and his talent would emerge wherever he went and whatever he chose to do, and we couldn't have been prouder of Jeffrey Kenton Wead. A new generation was upon us, and what they would do and where they would go, we could only imagine.